Hello beautiful people, welcome to my channel, Self Love Lexi. If you're new here, I am Alexis, a self-love coach. I teach women how to love themselves unconditionally. If you're just finding me for the first time, I post a lot on my Instagram. Also through my Instagram, you can access freebies that I have, like journaling prompts and my community for lovely ladies. That is completely free as well. Today we're going to be talking about how to build discipline as a woman. I'll get into things like systems, habits that create discipline, how motivation and discipline are different, why women differ than men with the subject of discipline, and how I follow my cycles and integrate that with being disciplined. First thing, I guess I'll talk about my credentials. I have been extremely disciplined pretty much my whole life. Obviously there are up and downs, but all the downs allowed me to learn and grow through them. I've been told by men, women, countless people, and asked, how are you so disciplined? So I decided to just make a video on it because I'm repeating the same thing over and over and over again. I have lemon tea. Discipline is not something you are naturally born with. Discipline is something you build over time. A lot of people, for example, it is January 27th as I'm recording this. A lot of people definitely have New Year's goals. By now, 50% of those people are not succeeding, are not continuing their goals that they set January 1st. This is mainly because they don't have systems, they don't have habits, and they don't have boundaries in place that allow them to succeed. First thing I want you to figure out is why. Why are you disciplined? What are you aiming towards? What is your purpose? Without this, without your why, you're not going to have motivation to even start it. I'm a firm believer that motivation starts and discipline stays consistent. Are you going to start something that you have absolutely no desire to start? Probably not. There's always a little pull, a little push to become better, to do something different with your life. And that is the motivation. The problem with motivation is it dies down. It's like a fire. It goes out. You first need the lighter to light it, and it stays lit for a second, but it's not going to stay lit forever. That is where discipline comes in. This is why it's so important to have systems, boundaries, and habits, and I'll talk about this. Myself, I set systems that I follow monthly and weekly to make sure I'm attaining my goals. One of those systems is journaling every day. I have about six questions I ask myself every single morning. 1, what can I improve? 2, what am I proud of? 3, what am I grateful for? What is the word of the day? What if, this is a really creative one, what if this happens today? And I step into that energy and that momentum. And then what are my intentions for the day? I ask myself these questions every single day. How do I do it? Well, I have a system in place. Every single night I set my journal out on my desk. So I know that it's here as soon as I wake up. I can't miss it, I can't ignore it. Every morning when I write one side, I then fill out the next side, the questions and the prompts. So the day after, I'm not exhausted and I can just fill out my answers and not have to do the whole thing over. This is systems. Systems are meant to be easy. If you have a difficult system, you're not going to follow through with your discipline. You're not going to follow through with what you had set to do. Just an example, imagine you told yourself you were going to do 20 push-ups every single day. You start with that motivation, that drive of maybe wanting a bigger chest, wanting to be healthier, wanting to look stronger, aesthetically pleasing, wanting to help your mom with the groceries. Whatever the motivation is, that's what starts this step. And then the discipline comes in. The problem is people set such unrealistic, I hate that word, but it's true when in terms of discipline, unrealistic expectations of themselves. And it starts great, it starts off amazing, but then one day you're exhausted. One day you come home from work and you couldn't be bothered to do 20 push-ups. You're not gonna do it. And then all of a sudden, that habit of, I'll just push it off tomorrow, starts moving forward. And then every single time you're tired, you push it off. And it just becomes a normal thing to push off the 20 push-ups. But if you have one push-up, you promise yourself, I'm gonna do at least one push-up today. It is almost impossible. It's embarrassing to miss that one push-up. You're gonna do it regardless. It's one damn push-up. And the good thing with this, on those days where you have that energy, you can rep out 20, you can rep out 50. But on the days when you're exhausted, you are still at least doing one push-up. Personally, I know this because of the amount of times I've set a goal that was so high that I thought was so achievable. And those days come where I'm exhausted. I'm on my period. Maybe I had a fight with my mom the day before. And I'm just tired, mentally, emotionally, and physically. The last thing I want to do is 20 push-ups. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not going to. And I know myself so much because the amount of times I've failed with creating systems. That's why I follow these systems that are so easy to do. I'll give you a few, just an example. I have a system that I read at least one page every day. That's it. That's it. Imagine I'm exhausted at the end of the day. It's just 1 page. I'm going to get that done. But if it was 10 pages, I might be like, girl, like I can't read these 10 pages. And I would not do it. I do the same with push-ups. That's why I use that example. I started off with 1 push-up every single day. Now I do 2 push-ups every single night. Every single night. A couple months ago, I had a system where I would meditate every day for 30 minutes. But then I'm exhausted. I have a lot to do, a lot of work to do, and I couldn't even be bothered to meditate for 10 minutes. I now have a system where I meditate for 5 minutes. That's impossible to say no to. It's just 5 minutes. So when you're building discipline, allow yourself to set up easy systems that will get you to that point of momentum. I was reading a book, and I can't actually reference the book, so I apologize. But in the book, they were talking about a man who set a goal to go to the gym. Every single day for 6 months, all he did was show up. He didn't even rep a single weight. He didn't do anything. He didn't take a picture. He just went to the gym. Now, most of us would be like, well, that's kind of useless. Like, what are you doing? You're literally paying for a gym membership and you're not going. What he was building was the discipline of showing up regardless. And that is a huge step that people miss all the time because they're focused on how they feel. This is why discipline is so important, because we all have feelings. We're all going to feel up and down. But these systems are set in place so you do it regardless. So you get to your goals regardless of how you feel. Next thing I'm going to talk about is boundaries. I would say I'm a queen of boundaries. So much so that I actually had to dial it back because it was a little too rigid. It was a little too rough. If you are familiar with me, you know that I'm a firm believer in the importance of feeling your feelings, especially as a woman. We are gifted with this beautiful essence of emotion, of life, of spirit, of intuition. And the worst thing that society has taught us is to suppress this, that our emotions make us weaker. This is not true at all. This is not true. When you are in tune with your emotions, you are a force to be reckoned with. And when I say in tune, I mean allowing yourself to feel. Why? Feelings are guidance. Emotions are guidance. So many people suppress them. They don't have joy, they don't have life because of the suppression of their emotions. One thing about emotions, in this 3D reality, it's polarity, duality. If you are wanting to succeed, you're gonna have to be okay with failure. If you want to fall in love, you're gonna have to be okay with heartbreak. It's inevitable. And this is the same with emotions. If you want to be happy, you have to be okay with the sad. You have to be willing to have those moments, experiences that are hurtful. The key to emotions as a woman is to feel them and not allow them to control you. How do you do this? Personally, if I'm going through a situation, I'll give myself a moment. I will sit down and I will feel the feeling. I won't analyze, I'll just fully feel it, even the pain. I won't sit in it for a long time because when you sit in emotion, it escalates. I know this is getting a little off track, but something's telling me to talk about this. When you sit in a specific emotion, it escalates and situations around you will start to feed into that emotion. You don't want to sit into the emotion too long. You just want to feel it. You just want to process it, allow it to come over you because it's there for a reason. Then you want to switch your state into a state of gratitude, love, fulfillment, joy. Take the lesson from the pain and move accordingly. Our bodies are filled with wisdom. If you don't know an answer, if you sit down with yourself and ask yourself a question, eventually in the stillness, an answer will come. That is how magical our bodies are. Let's talk about boundaries now, because I kind of got a little off track. Boundaries with discipline. Say you are wanting to achieve a certain goal at the gym. You want to lose 20 pounds, for example. And you have a bunch of friends who love eating out all the time. And not just like at cute restaurants. They love going to McDonald's. They love fast food. And you know your goal is not aligned with their actions. This is not to say you need to cut them off. That's not what I'm here to tell you. But you do need to put in boundaries to get to your goals, even if it hurts people. I had to tell people all the time, I can't come out with you, I can't go to the party with you, I'm so sorry, because I was building my business. And that is a boundary I set in place to build the discipline that I now have. So just a quick recap of that one topic. Have systems, make them easy, and create boundaries. Next, I did touch on it briefly, but the motivation versus discipline. I will explain motivation to you. To me, it's a moment of, it's a rush. It's a rush of adrenaline towards a specific goal. The thing is, the rush dies down. The rush goes away. That's why motivational speakers, they hit you for a minute. For a second, you take inspiration and you take action. But over time, that action dies down because motivation is not sustainable. But discipline is sustainable. But again, like I said before, motivation starts, discipline maintains. To create that motivation, it's so easy to create motivation. Honestly, watch a video about a millionaire 12-year-old who succeeded. Boom, motivation right there. But discipline is so inspiring to people because it's not something that you can just watch and then maintain. It is a system, a habit that you must build over time. Women and men differ subject of discipline, and here's why. Men have a 24-hour cycle. What does this mean? They wake up pretty much with the same energy every single day. Energy in the morning, bedtime, morning, bedtime, morning, bedtime. Whereas a woman is very different. We don't function on a 24-hour cycle. We function on a 4-week cycle, a month-to-month cycle. This is why, for example, the week before your period, you're exhausted. You're exhausted, you're moody, you're irritable. That weight, you just can't lift it. The week after your period, that same weight, you can rep it. It is lightweight, it is easy. You're feeling confident, you're feeling motivated. This is because of the hormone cycle that us women just have. It's not talked about enough. This hormone cycle literally impacts so many things. It impacts your energy, your mood, even your face. It impacts the way you look and the way you feel and the way you interact with yourself in the world. During these phases, your body needs different foods than other times of your other phases. I used to be somebody who was extremely disciplined, even when I felt like I was dying. Like, it was honestly bad, and a lot of people looked up to it. I looked up to it. I thought I was doing incredible because I was exhausted, mentally, physically drained, on my period, depressed, suicidal, and I would still show up to the gym every single day. And people around me like, how are you doing this? Honestly, I was in survival mode. I wasn't functioning from a place of love. I was functioning from a place of punishment. And that is a difference. I used to show up all the time. Now I have this system. When I'm on my period, I don't go to the gym. I do not go to the gym. I relax in my room more. I might get a sweet treat. I will allow myself to rest. I am a little more introspective. I might not go out at social gatherings versus when I'm in my ovulation. I'm hitting PRs in the gym. I'm super motivated. I want to get stuff done in my business. I'm super creative. That is when I'll plan social gatherings. This is just because I work with my body. And the discipline comes into the fact that it's the same those 4 weeks. Every single day during my luteal, follicular, and ovulation, I'm showing up to the gym every single day except for Sunday. Ovulation, I am hitting PRs. I'm going super hard. My follicular, I am maintaining the weight. Follicular is a funny spot because I'm not going light, but I'm not going hard. It's just neutral. In my luteal, I am going light and I'm focusing severely on recovery and I'm focusing on my form. That is just for the gym. But I'm disciplined in so many other ways, and this is how I can create this because I know my body. I know my body well. I know my body because I researched the female body, but I also know my body because I'm intentional with my body. I listen to my body. I listen to my feelings and my emotions. And when my body tells me rest, I rest. I think there's a very thin line between listening to your emotions and listening to your body. Us women, especially in the way that this world is built now, it is so easy to burn us out. It is incredibly easy because we weren't made for the 9-to-5 life. We were not at all. We were made to create and flow, and then 1 week rest. And that's just not how this world is designed for us. But it is still entirely possible to maintain those routines. For example, push-ups, I do them regardless. Journaling, I do it regardless of how I feel. You have to have systems in place that no matter what you are doing. I've been working out since I was 12 years old. I'm 20. That is 8 years consistently. I have not had a spot in those 8 years where I didn't go to the gym for months. Never. In those 8 years, I have not had that. And it's because of my discipline and how I upkeep myself, how I think about myself plays a huge part in it. I want to stay disciplined. I love my body. I love the temple I was given. I love my mind. I know that what I'm building needs me to be healthy, needs me to be on my A game. And I do that by building systems that help me get there. Thank you for watching. I love you guys all so much. I hope you love yourself as much as I love you. Again, join my free community for more. I post things like inner work, questions. I even send some good YouTube videos that I'm watching that day. Just keep up with the girls, you know? Mwah.